You're exhausted. You know you should put it down, but you pick it up anyway. You scroll for a few minutes. Nothing happens. You scroll some more, and somehow 30 minutes disappear, and you feel worse than before you started. So why did you do it? And why will you probably do it again tonight? Think about the last time you watched something and you were just fully there. No second screen, no checking anything, just in it. Can you even remember when that was? There was a time when watching something meant watching it. You sat down, the show started, and that was the whole thing. No notifications pulling you somewhere else. No urge to check what else was on. Just the screen in front of you, and you. And when it was over, it was over. You didn't immediately start the next episode. You just sat there for a second. Maybe talked about it. Maybe just felt it. There was a natural end to things. And that ending felt complete. Now think about how you watch things today. You're on the couch, or even on your bed. The show is on, but your phone is also in your hand, just in case. You're half watching, half somewhere else, and you're not fully in either place. I noticed this recently. I put on a film I'd actually been looking forward to, and within 10 minutes, I was on my phone. Not because the film was bad, just because something in me couldn't stay still. I watched the whole thing, but I'm not sure I actually saw it. And maybe that's the first thing screens quietly took from you. Not your time, not your sleep, just your ability to be fully somewhere, to enjoy one thing completely, without half of you already somewhere else. You don't scroll because you're bored, and you don't scroll because you're having fun either. You scroll because stopping feels harder than just continuing, and that's a very different thing. And sometimes there is something, a funny video sent by a friend, an interesting post on social media, something that makes you smile for a second, and that second feels genuinely good, so you keep going, looking for the next one. But the next one is a little less good, and the one after that even less. So you scroll faster, trying to find that first feeling again, and it keeps not arriving, but you keep looking anyway. And this is the trap. You're not scrolling because you're enjoying it anymore. You're scrolling because stopping feels worse than continuing. It's not pleasure, it's just momentum. And momentum is very hard to interrupt. Sometimes at night I'll pick up my phone for no real reason, and 20 minutes later I put it down, and I honestly can't tell you one thing I saw, not one thing, just a blur of content that passed through me and left nothing behind. And that's the feeling the title is really about. Not that screens are evil, not that technology ruined everything, just that you picked it up hoping for something, and put it down with less than what you started with. Every single time. And yet, tomorrow night, you'll do it again. You've probably had this feeling before. You spend an entire evening on your phone, or in front of Netflix, and when you finally go to bed, you're more tired than when you started. Not physically, just drained, like something used you up instead of filling you back. Here's the thing though, your body is on the couch. Nobody is asking anything of you. You're not working. But your brain is still going, still processing, still reacting to every image, every sound, every notification. You stopped moving, but nothing inside you actually stopped. Real rest is when your mind gets quiet, when it stops reacting, when it gets to just wonder. Screens don't give you that. They give you the position of rest, the look of rest, but not the thing itself. And the most cruel part is, the more tired you are, the harder it is to stop. Because when you're exhausted, you don't have the energy to choose something better. So you default to the easiest thing, which is always the screen, which makes you more tired, which makes it harder to stop tomorrow. I've had evenings where I spent 3 hours in front of something and woke up the next morning still feeling like I hadn't rested. Not because I slept badly, but because the evening before never actually gave me a break. I consumed for 3 hours and called it a night off. And nobody talks about this kind of tired. It doesn't have a name. You're not sick. You're not overworked. You just never actually stopped. Not really. And your brain is quietly keeping score. Here's something worth sitting with for a second. When you reached for your phone, what were you about to do instead? Not before you picked it up, just before. In that small gap, what was there? There used to be small gaps in the day, moments between one thing and the next. And those gaps were actually where things happened, where you would daydream for a minute, where a random thought would turn into something, where your mind would just wander. And wandering isn't nothing, it's actually where a lot of the good stuff comes from. Screens replaced boredom, and that sounds like a good thing. Nobody likes being bored. But boredom had a function. It was the moment your brain switched from consuming to actually thinking, from reacting to creating. And we quietly got rid of it. Screens also replaced conversations, not the big ones, the small, accidental ones. The kind that happen when two people are sitting together with nothing to do, and one of them says something random and it turns into something real. Those don't happen as much anymore, because there's always a screen to look at instead. I noticed this about myself not long ago. Every time something felt slightly uncomfortable, a difficult thought, a weird mood, something unresolved, I would reach for my phone within seconds. Not consciously, just reflexively. Like I trained myself to never sit with anything for more than a moment. And the strange thing is, the feeling doesn't go away. You scroll past it, you watch past it, but it's still there when you put the phone down, waiting. Screens are very good at delaying things, but they're not very good at resolving them. So here's the part nobody really has a clean answer for. You know all of this already. Maybe not in these exact words, but somewhere in you, you know. And yet tonight, you'll probably do it again. And that's not a character flaw. We live in a world that designed these things to be very hard to put down. Entire teams of people spent years figuring out exactly how to keep you scrolling. So when you can't stop, that's not weakness. That's the system working exactly as intended. And yet knowing that doesn't really fix it. Understanding the trap doesn't automatically get you out of it. You can know exactly why you scroll and still find yourself doing it at midnight for no reason. Knowledge and behavior are two very different things. So maybe the goal isn't to quit screens, or to feel guilty every time you pick up your phone, or to build some perfect system where you never scroll mindlessly again. That's probably not realistic, and it's definitely not the point. I myself am not trying to use my phone less, not really. I'm just trying to notice more. Notice when I pick it up for no reason. Notice what I was feeling just before I did. That's it. Not a system, not a rule, just a little more awareness than yesterday. Screens aren't going anywhere, and neither is the urge to pick them up. But maybe every once in a while, you put it down before the 30 minutes disappear. Not because you have to, just because you remembered that the room you're actually sitting in is still there. And it's quieter than the screen. And sometimes, that's enough.